Hey guys, so today I want to cover the topic bodybuilding for weightlifting. Now, you might have seen certain countries like China do a lot of bodybuilding exercises, and you might have wondered, should I be doing bodybuilding for weightlifting? And today I'll be covering that topic for you.
Oh, you make me want to talk back to you.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel where I talk about all things mindset and weightlifting, and I decided to cover the topic today of bodybuilding and weightlifting. And one thing I want to say is, first and foremost, I think for anything there's always a time and place. And the first thing I just want to tell you guys is I do not recommend ever to try something new just before a competition. So if you have wondered if you should be adding some bodybuilding training into your training program, don't go and add something 4 weeks before a competition, just because firstly with bodybuilding training you might feel really sore and stiff the next day, and that might hinder your movement, which could then ultimately lead to you potentially getting injured because now you're not properly moving in your weightlifting. So whenever you try new things, always make sure you try it out way in advance of competition, preferably in an off season, and also preferably, communicating this with your coach before you just go and add a whole bunch of bodybuilding training to your weightlifting training. So if you guys have been following my Instagram lately, you might have seen that I've been doing quite a bit of bodybuilding training incorporated into my weightlifting training. Now, firstly, I just want to say I don't have any competitions in the near future. So that's why I've kind of just lowered the volume a bit of my weightlifting training, and I've just added in a few bodybuilding movements. Firstly, because I really enjoy the bodybuilding movements, and I also like just that feeling of getting that blood flow to my muscles, and also for physique reasons. So if your goal is not necessarily to compete and be the best weightlifter, and you maybe just want to do some bodybuilding plus your weightlifting training to look good, then I would definitely recommend you doing some extra bodybuilding training. But also, if you want to use the bodybuilding exercises to lift better, you can also do that. Because like you've seen in weightlifting training, the type of exercises we do is always dual arm, so you'll always be lifting with a barbell with two hands, and you won't be doing a lot of single arm or single leg work. So that's where I recommend every now and again, even if it's just once a week, going and doing some one arm work. Might be like one arm presses, one arm rows, something that's going to help your weightlifting, and not necessarily going to do a full bodybuilding program where you do say a lot of partial reps and things like that. I might actually just add bodybuilding training to my weightlifting athletes programs. Also, if, for example, I just want to strengthen some tendons and just want to add a bit of variety to their program. But again, this is something that we will do way in advance of a competition. And if the athlete's main goal is to compete in weightlifting, then I will make sure that the bodybuilding exercises that they do are there to benefit their weightlifting. So some of the exercises that I've been doing, and I'm going to be sharing with you one of my upper body workouts that I did today. And again, these do not affect my weightlifting in any way, in a bad way. In actual fact, I feel good going from a session like this into my weightlifting sessions. But then again, I'm also not training 7 days a week or 7 sessions a week. I'm cutting my weightlifting sessions down a bit, and I am every other day doing a light bodybuilding session. Now, the first exercise that I started with today is my reverse pec decks to train a bit of my rear delts. This isn't a very exciting exercise, but it's definitely one that I enjoy, just that feeling of building, my upper back and rear delts. So it's very often an exercise that not a lot of people will do, but if you do want to build, the upper back or rear delt, it's a great exercise to do. Normally a person will go really light with it, focusing more on technique more than anything, and a lot of repetitions. So like you'll see today, I ended up doing 4 sets of 20 just to get a nice blood flow into that area and a nice pump. Second, after that, I went and did the chest press on the machine. This was a really nice exercise, but if you are an athlete with really tight pecs, I wouldn't necessarily go and do any pec exercises like bench press or machine press or anything like that. I would rather focus on doing then things like one-arm presses or barbell presses and stuff like that, and stay away from too much pec work. So for me, because I'm quite supple in that area, again, it doesn't affect my weightlifting training, but it's also not something I will do year round. I might just do this for a month or two in my off season, a year, and it's more, like I said, just for like physique and to feel good. So after my chest presses, I went and did machine rows. I love this exercise. Well, to be honest, I actually love any type of row movement. I love training my back. It's just one of those exercises I just love doing. I love the feeling of it, and I love seeing how quickly my back grows. So that's probably why it's also one of my favorite exercises to do in bodybuilding. And I also love incorporating a lot of rows into my weightlifting program as well. So after the rows on the machine, I went and I did a superset of single arm dumbbell press. Now this is an exercise I really like giving to my athletes too. Sometimes I'll give it to them even as part of their warm up before their weightlifting sessions, and I'll make them do, just slow and controlled work where they can actually do it also more as a mobility exercise and a warm up exercise, and just to build a bit of extra shoulder strength. And then after the one arm press with the superset, I did one arm dumbbell rows. So again, another one of my favorite exercises to do. I also do love the press, but like I said, when it comes to my back work, that is definitely one of my favorite exercises to do. After the dumbbell row superset with the single arm press, I did a monster drop set of tricep push downs. I wouldn't recommend doing drop sets at all with your weightlifting training. I'm just, like I said, doing this more for just physique purposes and just because I wanted to do a bit more bodybuilding training into my workout. And I love doing this drop set because I just loved feeling my triceps work and just basically getting blood into the muscles. I then followed the tricep push downs by doing cable bicep curls. And again, this, if an athlete is hypermobile or, sometimes even battle with elbow problems, then, bicep curls is a really good exercise to do for weightlifting. But again, I did not do that exercise for that reason. For me, it was just more for aesthetics than anything else. So guys, that was my bodybuilding training that I did today. And like I said, I've been doing alternating days of one day weightlifting, one day bodybuilding, and like that. And I'll be training 6 days a week just for some extra variety. Like I said, some of these exercises I will recommend for weightlifting, some of it I will not. And at the end of the day, anything that you do, just know that the first and foremost, you need to figure out what is your ultimate goal. If your ultimate goal is to look good, then by all means, add these exercises into your program, but also make sure that you don't do too much. And also make sure then that if you do want to add extra bodybuilding training, you probably don't want to go as heavy with your weightlifting training, and vice versa. If your main goal is to compete as a weightlifter, I would definitely incorporate some bodybuilding training, but more as accessories, and at the end of the day to enhance your weightlifting training, not for the goal of aesthetic reasons, but just to make sure that you get strong in those ranges of motion like you would move in your weightlifting. So if you are interested in the weightlifting side of things, I have a 3-day a week and a 5-day a week weightlifting programming that you can go and get in the link in the description. You can try out a 7-day free trial. Now, with my weightlifting programming, I include warm-ups, mobility work, the weightlifting training, primers to warm you up for the weightlifting movements, as well as some bodybuilding accessory work. So if you feel like my weightlifting program is a good fit for you, or it's something that you want to go and try out my 7-day free trial and see what you think. And if you enjoy it, then you can always subscribe. And I also just want to say, guys, if you like my video and there's anything else, or there's a certain topic that you would love for me to talk about, please comment below in the comments. And if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, ring that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one.